Hey, you. How are you doing today? I am so glad that you came back to see me. I thought it would be fun to show you my fragrance collection today. I have amassed a collection of several different fragrances, and they all smell really good, and I love wearing them. And I love the fact that your sense of smell is directly related to memory. So if you smell certain perfumes, they may remind you of an aunt or a mother or a teacher or maybe a special time in your life. And I think that fragrance is a memory keeper in a way. And so I've got several of them here that I want to talk to you about. And I made some notes because it's fun to know the different notes of the fragrances. Fragrances have different layers. And I've made some notes here so that we can talk about that too. So let's get started. So first of all, this is the newest one that I purchased, but it's probably the oldest fragrance here. This is White Linen by Estee Lauder. And this perfume was invented in 1978. And I'm going to read off my notes here because I'm not going to be able to remember all of this. But it was created by Sophia Grossman, and it's an intense fragrance built on the harmony of aldehydes, flowers, wood, amber, and musk. The purity of white linen that dries in the sun, a cool elegance of white flowers and green notes. White linen is classified as a floral aldehyde. Top notes include Bulgarian rose, jasmine. Middle notes are comprised of orris and violet, and the base is made of vetiver and oak moss. So the very first time that I bought this perfume, it smells so good. Very sweet, very springtime perfume. The very first time I bought this was in 1989, and I had saved some money. And we had a department store in Knoxville, Tennessee called Profits. And I don't think they have that anymore. So anyway, I saved up my money and I went to West Town Mall in Knoxville at the Profits department store. And I bought my very first bottle of white linen. And I gotta tell you, I thought I was so fancy when I had this perfume. A lady that I knew who was the epitome of class and style, and I admired her so much, wore this. And so I wanted to emulate her, and so I bought the white linen perfume, and I loved it for so many years. And you know how styles come and go, fragrances come and go too. And so I quit using this for many years, but I saw it late last year, and so I went ahead and purchased it, and I'm glad that I did because it is such a timeless fragrance, and I really enjoyed this one. And it has such a pretty little bottle. And I apologize, y'all, because of my profession as an esthetician. I don't do well with long nails, so I'm not a very good scratcher of things. So we're just gonna have to go for pretty and go for the voice. So anyway, that is White Linen by Estee Lauder. This is a good one. This is probably my favorite. Okay, this is a Tom Ford fragrance. This is Rose d'Amalfi. It's weird to say that you could feel intoxicated or euphoric when you smell something, but I feel that way when I smell this. It hits me. It's hard to explain. It almost hits me on the roof of my mouth, and it I'm gonna try to explain it to you first, and then I'm gonna read my notes, and we'll see if it hits the same. First of all, Tom Ford puts out some fantastic fragrances. So if you get a chance to go sniff them at a department store, it is a sensory delight. So you should do it. First of all, oh my goodness, it's just okay. So first of all, rose is definitely there. And then it has some powder notes, but then I'm also getting almost a cocoa fragrance as well. And I think that that's what's hitting me on the roof of my mouth is almost that cocoa fragrance. I'm not sure if that's even in here. I made notes, but I don't remember what I put down. But that is a fantastic fragrance. I love, love, love. Again, this is Tom Ford's Rose d'Amalfi. And let's read about this. It says, evoking the sunlit sensuality of the Amalfi Coast, Rose d'Amalfi mingles spicy Baies roses, that's Baies, with almond-like heliotrope and an exquisite rose-on-rose distillation, elicit, eliciting a wave of captivating, softly sensuous skin-on-skin sensations. Oh, well, that doesn't really... It doesn't talk about the different levels of it. So I'm going to have to do some more research on that. But if you get a chance to go smell that, this one came from Neiman Marcus in Charlotte. And if you get a chance to go smell all of Tom Ford's fragrances, I think that you are going to love them. But wait, there's more. I have another Tom Ford fragrance. This is the one that introduced me to Tom Ford. This is Santal Blush. This is a very heavy, deep fragrance. It's very deep. It is very, well, I'll read the notes in just a minute. I saw this in Macy's in Herald Square in New York City about 4 years ago, and my daughter and I were there, and so we were looking at, there's so much excitement at Macy's anyway, and it was Christmas time, so everything was decorated just splendidly there. And so this is the first time we discovered Tom Ford, so we walked past his display, and one of the ladies was there saying, oh, do you want to try this? And so we tried this, and I was mesmerized by this fragrance. And so I went over and I smelled all of them, all of the different Tom Ford fragrances. And at the time, this was expensive. His fragrances are not cheap, but this is an actual perfume, so it has more of the essential, well, not essential oils. It has I'm just going to say it, the fancier ingredients, because I don't know the terminology, but it is so good. And this has lasted several years, and I expect it to last many more. Sometimes colognes don't last as long because I believe that they use an alcohol base, if I'm not mistaken, and so the fragrance sort of dissipates over time, but a real perfume won't dissipate as fast. So this is another favorite too. But again, this is a much, much heavier perfume. And so I would only wear this in the winter time or in the fall. And one thing too, you probably already know about this, but I want you to heed my warning because this happened to my daughter very recently. When you put perfume on, you should put it on before you get dressed. Or if you don't have time to put it on before you get dressed, spray it in the air and walk through it. Spray it gently through the air and then give it a second and then walk through it. The reason why is because it can leave greasy stains on your clothes. And that can really be bad. And that happened to my precious daughter. She was going to an event and she had on a beautiful pink dress and she was in a hurry and she just sprayed some perfume directly on her and it made kind of grease marks on her dress. And I hated that for her because it was a beautiful dress, but it had those little marks on it. Hopefully nobody noticed. She looked so pretty it wouldn't have mattered anyway, but just do that next time, and I think that you'll be happier with the results. And also too, you want that fragrance on your skin. You don't want that on your clothes. You want it on your skin because the heat from your body is going to heat up all those wonderful oils and just make it, that chemical reaction is going to make it smell like your own scent. So these fragrances on me aren't going to smell the same on you because of our own chemical makeups in our body. So I think that's fascinating. Okay, so wait a second. Let's read right quick about Santal blush. It says a textured fusion celebrating sandalwood. Santal blush presents exotic spices enhanced with luxe lang lang, warm cinnamon, and sumptuous woods, seducing with modern second skin warmth. So that is a great one too. All right. This is the perfume that I have worn the longest. You know, you have folks who have signature scents. And I remember a friend of mine in middle school, her mother was absolutely gorgeous. Her name was Nancy. In fact, she was such a pretty woman that people would stop her and just be mesmerized by her. She was absolutely gorgeous, and she wore a fragrance called Sierra. Do any of y'all remember that fragrance, Sierra? That was probably in the mid-'80s. And so every time I think of Sierra, I think of Miss Nancy, beautiful Miss Nancy. And so I got a story about her. Do y'all want to hear it? Because you know I'm full of stories. Okay, so I met Nancy in 1983. Her daughter moved down to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and then I had just moved to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee also. And so her daughter and I became really good friends, and so I would go spend the night at their house all the time. Well, their daddy did the lights for a show in Pigeon Forge. It was called the Bonnie Lou and Buster Show. And then he also did the lights for an Elvis show. And Ronnie Speaks was the man who performed as Elvis. And so when I spent the night at my friend Angie's house, on Friday nights, we would get to go to work with her parents because her father ran the lights and then her mother did the table, the merchandise table for Ronnie Speaks. So you talk about just an amazing childhood just for that only, if that was the only reason, because we had so much fun. We would sit in what they called the cheap seats, which was on the floor right in front of the stage. And I think I know every Elvis song because of that show. And we had the best time. So anyway, every time I think of Sierra Perfume, I think of Nancy, my friend Angie, my childhood in Pigeon Forge, and seeing the Elvis impersonator on stage. And we just had a ball. So much fun, so much fun. So where was I? Okay, signature scent. This has been my signature scent since 2015. I discovered this. This is Versace Eros, and it is the female version. And so this has the best fragrance. And let me read to you what it says about Versace Eros. It says it's Sicilian lemon, bergamot, pomegranate, and then lemon flower, jasmine, peony, sandalwood, amber, musk, and sensual woods. And then it says for the olfactory family, it has notes of floral, woody, and musk. And it is light. It's not heavy. It's sweet. It's a sweet perfume. Now, I will say that I'm calling this a perfume, but I believe it's actually a cologne. It's less expensive than the two Tom Fords. And if you notice, if you take time to notice, you can tell when a perfume has better ingredients in it. And I'm interchanging perfume and cologne. I know that's not correct, but we'll call it a fragrance. You can tell when a fragrance has a little cheaper ingredients in it because the scent hits you in a different way. It works with me that way. So this one hits me a little different. It's not as deep and intense of a fragrance. It's still wonderful. It's still pretty. It smells light and refreshing and just so beautiful. And I love to take a cotton ball and spray this on a cotton ball and then stick it in my car. That way, I'm not overpowered with the scent when I go somewhere, but you can still smell it lingering on me. Like when I get out of the car and I walk into a building or I walk into a business, this scent follows me because of that little cotton ball trick. So try that and see if you like the way your fragrance does with you. So anyway, that's a really good one. All right. Now, next, this collection that I have isn't very many, and this is probably my least favorite. This is the newest one that I've purchased, and this one is called Les Immortels Voluptia, and it combines a harmonious blend of floral and woody notes to create a truly enchanting scent. It says the top notes of this fragrance features a delicate bouquet of fresh flowers, including jasmine and rose, which lend a soft and romantic touch. As the fragrance settles, the heart notes reveal a warm and sensual blend of amber and sandalwood, adding depth and complexity to the composition. And it says it has a lingering trail of musk, creating a captivating and alluring aura. Well, that may be so, but not on me. There's something that hits me wrong, and I'm not sure what it is. When I smelled it in the store, it was fine, and I liked it. I knew it was a heavier fragrance, but then when I got it home, it just didn't smell the same. It was very disappointing because it wasn't cheap, but I just don't love the way this smells. I mean, it's a beautiful bottle. Look at that. It's just so pretty, but it just doesn't smell all that good on me. And this is a very heavy perfume cologne fragrance, but it's just not my favorite. So I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to see if I can find somebody to give that one to. Now, this one is so sweet. This one isn't fancy at all. As a matter of fact, if you've ever heard of the Vermont Country Store catalog, or if you've ever been, have you ever been to the Vermont Country Store? It's a real place in, no, it's not Rupert. Where is that in Vermont? I can't think of the town that it's in now, but we went there many, many years ago. We went to the Vermont Country Store, and so I like their Highland Lilac perfume. This is by, let's see, Lilacs of Rochester, I believe, or Rochester Lilacs, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is Highland Lilac perfume, and it smells like lilacs, but very strong and intense. It is light, sweet, and you just smell like a flower when you wear it. And I love it. My daughter loves it too. This is one of our old favorites. We love this one. And let me read this to you too. This is from their website. It says, Highland Lilac of Rochester presents the finest lilac perfume in the world. In spring, the rare double flowering and other special varieties of lilac buds and blossoms are harvested, collected, and tested each year to make sure the perfumers and chemists have the exact match with the original formula. The juice must have a fresh lilac scent with a sensual dry down. Each year, only a limited quantity of the perfume is produced. This scent has been cherished by many generations of Americans as the true essence of lilac. This perfume's classy sophistication continues into the 21st century. And If you like lilac, you will love this. And again, you can buy it from the Vermont Country Store, but you can buy it directly from Highland Lilac of Rochester. That's the name of the website. So, and I think it's $49. It's not very expensive. So, if you like it, I think if you like lilac, I think you'll love this. Now, so that's the end of my current perfume selection, but I want to show you a couple of other fun things too. Did any of your, well, with my audience, it's going to be your grandmothers. Did any of your grandmothers, maybe even great grandmothers, sell Avon? Well, my mother sold Avon years and years ago, like not about the same time that White Linen came out. It was 1978, and she sold Avon for just a short amount of time. But anyway, she had this perfume. This is Sweet Honesty, and this is the little Scottish Lass bottle. And this was her bottle, and you can just barely smell that fragrance. And when I smell it, it reminds me of my sweet little mama. She was so young when she wore this, and there's a picture of her standing in front of her dresser, and she's getting ready to go to a wedding, and so she's all fixed up, and the picture is in black and white. My father liked to take black and white pictures a lot, and this bottle is on the dresser behind her, and so it's just a sweet picture and a sweet memory of my mother to have this bottle of Sweet Honesty perfume. The perfume's gone, but the bottle remains, so I love this. And then lastly, this is amazing to me that this still has any fragrance at all. So, y'all won't believe this. So, I met my husband in 1988. We were both 15 years old. So, we were both swimming at a campground in Pigeon Forge. The campground was right down the road from me, and so we couldn't get in free to Ogles Water Park that day. We always had friends who could get us in free places, but if your friend's not working, you're not going to pay because, why should you? Because you can get in free most days. But anyway, our friends weren't working that day, and it was summertime, and we really wanted to go swimming somewhere. So there was a campground just within walking distance from my house called Claybo's Campground. So my friend Robin and I walked down to Claybo's to jump in the pool and go swimming. And while we were there were these two cute boys that were there, and one of them was staring at me. And I didn't want anything to do with him because I wasn't interested in boys. I was, I sort of was, but really I wasn't. I was a late bloomer. But anyway, he and I got to talking, and we were crazy about each other and have been ever since. But my mother had given me this potpourri the summer that I got out of my freshman year of high school. And so this potpourri reminds me, well, it is a total remembrance of that time in my life. And what's so amazing is it still smells exactly like it did, good lands, 30 some years ago. Isn't that crazy? So, and it's hard to, I don't even remember what the name of the potpourri was. It does have rose petals in it, and I can't even tell you what this is. It sort of smells like rose and vanilla and chocolate, and I'm sure there are other flavors intermingled. But I have carried this little cut glass container of potpourri all these years with me because it reminds me of that sweet, sweet time in my life when I was 15 years old and met the boy who would become my husband someday. So anyway, fragrance is a memory keeper. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that you sleep well tonight. And I wanted to say again how much I appreciate each and every one of you. Y'all, you leave these sweet comments, and you tell me things that are going on in your lives, and you give me video ideas. I love that. I have my list going, and I'm going to make several of your requests this weekend for you. So I really appreciate that. But please, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, because that kind of helps spread the word that people like things like this, and it pushes it out to YouTube land, and it lets other people see it. And then also it lets me know if you like this kind of content, because that makes me kind of know if I need to make more, or pull back the reins and do something else too. And then lastly, if you just tell me about your favorite fragrance, and then maybe if there is a memory that you associate with certain fragrances. It doesn't have to be a perfume. It could be bread, or fresh mown hay, or the smell of sheets or towels that have been line dried, and you've used them at the end of the day. It can be a memory like that. So let me know your favorite scent memory, and what that memory is. I would love to hear about it. Y'all take care, my kindred spirits, and I will see you on the next video.